Hey, it's Obuna from Team Navi.
大家好，我是实习战队的小鬼。
I'm Vex and I play for FaceBack.
大家好，我是飘战队的 X-Left 的。
I can't imagine the game without fans.
粉丝们以各种方式支持我们，和我们站在一起。
I've imagined what it'd feel like to have skins representing our team in the game.
It would be like we are actually in the battlegrounds ourselves in the game.
兄弟们，现在登录游戏就能看到我们精心设计的皮肤了。
We designed the skins in the way we've always imagined, wanted, and thought that would be cool.
现在设计好的皮肤已经在游戏中上架了。
If I encountered a player wearing our skins in the game, I would feel like proud to see that.
然后也是希望大家能够期待一下我们这款皮肤吧。
也请大家持续关注我们。
Please stay tuned for our involvement in the project.
Hello players, I'm PUBG Glera. Welcome to our new series, CM's Letter, where we'll be addressing some of your thoughts and updating you on the latest changes we've brought to the game based on your feedback. Speaking of changes, today we'd like to discuss the recent changes made to normal matches. Over the past years, we've heard your feedback about the early phase of normal matches feeling too long or not being able to find enough items to loot. So, we've decided to implement significant changes to the normal matches rule set starting from update 23.1. First off, the playtime from phases 1 to 3 has been greatly reduced to match the early gameplay time of ranked mode. With this, we hope you'll be able to enjoy a faster paced match right from the start. Secondly, we've generally increased the number of weapons, items, and vehicles that spawn throughout the battlegrounds, making it easier for you to find everything you'll need. Finally, other settings such as the plane route and last circle location have been adjusted to match the settings of ranked mode as well. These changes have been made based on your feedback and our analysis of player data over the years. Our aim is to reduce the discomfort and difficulty that players may face when jumping from normal match to ranked. If you haven't tried out the updated normal match just yet, head over to the Battlegrounds and let us know what you think. We always appreciate your feedback and take them into account when creating the optimal PUBG Battlegrounds experience. Well, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time with more exciting updates.
Now we can be in the game to play PUBG ourselves.
我们设计了我们脑海中一直想要很炫酷的皮肤。
兄弟们，现在登录游戏就能看到我们精心设计的皮肤了。
If I encountered a player wearing our skins in the game, I would feel like proud to see that.
PUBG e스포츠가 오랫동안 고민해왔던 지점 중에 하나가 팀들에게 실질적인 혜택과 더불어서 동반 성장하는 모델을 만들고자 하는 것이었습니다. 그러한 맥락에서 글로벌 파트너 팀 프로젝트를 시작하게 되었습니다. 그 시작으로 GPT 스킨을 제작을 하게 되었습니다. 이번 스킨은 팀에서 원화를 직접 제작을 해주셨는데요. 그 퀄리티가 정말 예상보다 훨씬 좋아서 깜짝 놀랐습니다. 팬분들께도 응원하는 팀에서 직접 제작을 해주셨기 때문에 더욱더 의미가 클 것이라 생각이 되는데요. 자신이 응원하는 팀에 대해서 오랫동안 응원해온 보람이 있구나 느끼실 수 있는 계기가 될 수 있을 것 같습니다.
I have imagined what it would feel like to have skins representing our team. It would be like we are actually in the battlegrounds ourselves in the game. Now we can be in the game to play PUBG ourselves.
We designed the skins in the way we've always imagined, wanted, and thought that would be cool. I hope our fans really love the skins. I think they look really cool, so I think the fans will enjoy them as well.
Well, the big challenge is to create something that represents the brand and it has to look cool so the fan has the desire for it. So you need to find the right elements and colors with meaning.
I'm thrilled that GPT skins will help our fans be united with our team. It's always exciting because you only create these things in the digital world, and it's a great joy to see our fans who will win in our skin.
希望这些皮肤能代表我们17战队，并向大家展示我们战队的文化和精神含义，这样才能确保皮肤能够被广大玩家喜爱和接受。
对我来说挺激动的，能在 PUBG 里看到代表我们17战队的皮肤饰品，这个过程让我想要拿出更好、更有说服力的表现，来更好的在电竞领域定位我自己和队伍。
这对于选手来说，在游戏里就拥有自己的那种专属道具啊，或者皮肤，就是非常有意义的一件事。然后希望以后这种合作也能够越来越多吧。
I believe there will be more opportunities communicating with our fans, expanding the global partner team program.
안녕하세요. 저는 PCC 캐릭터 팀의 이준호입니다. 캐릭터가 입는 의상, 총기, 그리고 탈 것들을 제작하고 있습니다. 팀별로 그런 색깔이나 특성이 있는 디자인이라고 생각했고 일반 옷으로 생각해도 굉장히 멋스러운 디자인이라고 생각했습니다. 팬들이 보았을 때 가장 중요하다고 생각되는 부분들, 그런 부분에 중점을 둬 작업을 했고요. 팬분들이나 이제 유저분들이 보았을 때 우리 팀의 이 유니폼을 입고 실제로 경기를 할 수 있겠구나 하면서 약간 그런 것들에 대한 만족을 위해서 생각을 하면서 작업을 했습니다.
And I want to thank every fan for your support. It means a lot for us.
I cannot imagine the world without fans.
期待一下我们这款皮肤吧。
所以说，你们的支持对于我们非常重要，也希望大家多多支持17战队，谢谢大家。
Hey, it's Uba from Team Navi.
大家好，我是实际战队的小鬼。
I'm Vex and I play for FaZe Clan.
大家好，我是飘战队的 X-Lab 的。
I can't imagine the game without fans.
粉丝们以各种方式支持我们，和我们站在一起。
Imagined what it'd feel like to have skins representing our team in the game.
It would be like we are actually in the battlegrounds ourselves in the game.
兄弟们，现在登录游戏就能看到我们精心设计的皮肤了。
We designed the skins in the way we've always imagined, wanted, and thought that would be cool.
现在设计好的皮肤已经在游戏中上架了。
If I encountered a player wearing our skins in the game, I would feel like proud to see that.
然后也是希望大家能够期待一下我们这款皮肤吧。
也请大家持续关注我们。
Please stay tuned for our involvement in the project.
Hello players, I'm PUBG Glera. Welcome to our new series, CM's Letter, where we'll be addressing some of your thoughts and updating you on the latest changes we've brought to the game based on your feedback. Speaking of changes, today we'd like to discuss the recent changes made to normal matches. Over the past years, we've heard your feedback about the early phase of normal matches feeling too long or not being able to find enough items to loot. So, we've decided to implement significant changes to the normal matches rule set starting from update 23.1. First off, the playtime from phases 1 to 3 has been greatly reduced to match the early gameplay time of ranked mode. With this, we hope you'll be able to enjoy a faster paced match right from the start. Secondly, we've generally increased the number of weapons, items, and vehicles that spawn throughout the battlegrounds, making it easier for you to find everything you'll need. Finally, other settings such as the plane route and last circle location have been adjusted to match the settings of ranked mode as well. These changes have been made based on your feedback and our analysis of player data over the years. Our aim is to reduce the discomfort and difficulty that players may face when jumping from normal match to ranked. If you haven't tried out the updated normal match just yet, head over to the battlegrounds and let us know what you think. We always appreciate your feedback and take them into account when creating the optimal PUBG Battlegrounds experience. Well, thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time with more exciting updates.
Now we can be in the game to play PUBG ourselves.
我们设计了我们脑海中一直想要、很炫酷的皮肤。
兄弟们，现在登录游戏就能看到我们精心设计的皮肤了。
If I encountered a player wearing our skins in the game, I would feel proud to see that.
PUBG e스포츠가 오랫동안 고민해왔던 지점 중에 하나가 팀들에게 실질적인 혜택과 더불어서 동반 성장하는 모델을 만들고자 하는 것이었습니다. 그러한 맥락에서 글로벌 파트너 팀 프로젝트를 시작하게 되었습니다. 그 시작으로 GPT 스킨을 제작을 하게 되었습니다. 이번 스킨은 팀에서 원화를 직접 제작을 해주셨는데요. 그 퀄리티가 정말 예상보다 훨씬 좋아서 깜짝 놀랐습니다. 팬분들께도 응원하는 팀에서 직접 제작을 해주셨기 때문에 더욱더 의미가 클 것이라 생각이 되는데요. 자신이 응원하는 팀에 대해서 오랫동안 응원해온 보람이 있구나, 느끼실 수 있는 계기가 될 수 있을 것 같습니다.
I have imagined what it would feel like to have skins representing our team. It would be like we are actually in the battlegrounds ourselves in the game. Now we can be in the game to play PUBG ourselves.
We designed the skins in the way we've always imagined, wanted, and thought that would be cool. I hope our fans really love the skins. I think they look really cool, so I think the fans will enjoy them as well.
Well, the big challenge is to create something that represents the brand and it has to look cool so the fan has a desire for it. So you need to find the right elements and colors with meaning.
I'm thrilled that GPT skins will help our fans be united with our team. It's always exciting because you only create these things in the digital world, and it's a great joy to see our fans who will win in our skin.
希望这些皮肤能代表我们17战队，并向大家展示我们战队的文化和精神含义，这样才能确保皮肤能够被广大玩家喜爱和接受。
对我来说挺激动的，能在 PUBG 里看到代表我们17战队的皮肤视频，这个过程让我想要拿出更好、更有说服力的表现，来更好的在电竞领域定位我自己和队伍。
就对于选手来说，在游戏里就拥有自己的那种专属道具啊，或者皮肤，就是非常有意义的一件事。然后希望以后这种合作也能够越来越多吧。
I believe there will be more opportunities communicating with our fans, expanding the global partner team program.
안녕하세요. 저는 PCC 캐릭터 팀의 이준호입니다. 캐릭터가 입는 의상, 총기, 그리고 탈 것들을 제작하고 있습니다. 팀별로 그런 색깔이나 특성이 있는 디자인이라고 생각했고 일반 옷으로 생각해도 굉장히 멋스러운 디자인이라고 생각했습니다. 팬들이 보았을 때 가장 중요하다고 생각되는 부분들, 그런 부분에 중점을 둬 작업을 했고요. 팬분들이나 이제 유저분들이 보았을 때 우리 팀의 이 유니폼을 입고 실제로 경기를 할 수 있겠구나 하면서 약간 그런 것들에 대한 만족을 위해서 생각을 하면서 작업을 했습니다.
And I want to thank every fan for your support. It means a lot for us.
I cannot imagine the world without fans.
期待一下我们这款皮肤吧。
所以说，你们的支持对于我们非常重要，也希望大家多多支持17战队，谢谢大家。
To all the PUBG players, this year instead of the PCS series, we have a brand new offline tournament, the PUBG Global Series. As the first PUBG esports global event of the year, PGS1 will kick off on April 27th in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. During the 2-week-long competition, 24 professional teams will chase a $500,000 prize pool. Our 24 teams will come from all over the world to represent their regions, including all 8 PUBG global partner teams of 2023. And they will be competing on 2 classic maps. The teams will be split into 3 groups, Group A, B, and C. They will compete with each other over 3 days in the group stage. Then the top 16 teams will advance to the winner's bracket, and the bottom 8 teams will fall into the loser's bracket. From there, the top 8 teams of the winner bracket will claim a spot in the grand finals. The remaining 8 teams will join the rest of the group stage teams in the loser's bracket, leaving us with a new pool of 16 teams with one last opportunity at punching their ticket to the grand finals. In the loser's bracket, 8 teams will rise above the rest, filling out our grand final spots. In the grand finals, the 16 best teams from PGS1 will battle it out in 18 matches over 3 days. On the final day, only one team may stand and claim the grand prize of $80,000 along with the title of PGS1 champions. But that's not all. The top 4 teams with the highest point totals from PGS1 and 2 will qualify directly for PGC 2023. Meanwhile, don't forget to go to twire.gg to pick your dream team, predict the winners of PGS1, and earn a chance to grab a bunch of G coins. This year, PGS will become a new frontier in the world of PUBG esports. Stay tuned to find out who will be the first to plant their flag in the land of the new era.
They've got shotguns in hand. They just roam around. H1 connects with one. They're looking around. He knows where the other one goes for the spray. H1 is the key to success right now.
剩最后一个了，吴迪这边的，前面踩上来露头盔，洗头，明明。Still voting his way, using the nade actually goes out towards it. Try and go for the flag, but it is the map. He is able to get it. 마지막에 이름을
Maybe they can find some assault. E1 Rella lines up.
กูสิโดนแฟดน็อกไปและยังไม่จบตรงนี้เบลมอสยังคงช่วยแฟดอยู่9 คิวท่านผู้ชมเดเทน
Trong diện tích của vòng bo, vòng bo tiếp theo có sở một mình trước những mũi tên number. Wow, đẹp quá, rất đi.
还这么被动，其实就是恭喜吃鸡的队伍。
そして上から一方的にムクに対しても。
Kang and Good are silent, not able to do so though. Kang, this is their first.
We all know how dangerous that can be. The shot does come out though, and that's going to be a warning to perhaps go the window. But Spyro, he delayed his drop, able to get the knock, fully run away from that, down to such low HP. But this is a moment to perhaps finish that kill, especially with the frag grenade in hand.
1 HP to work with, and what a survival. I love the fact that it sits in the window because the shotgun comes through in the chest, but the nade finds the second as well. Joey goes down. With full control of the hillside up above, shooting over the top, finds the first one. That is Pushil's down. Yeah, Tiggleton and company. Oh my God!
Engagement might be overwhelmed, but AZ with the underhand grenade, this one could be good.
Oh, he gets the knock, and now he's gonna push out and get another. Looking for the third, looking for the finish. The 1v3 on Adanawa. Salute is hurt, but he is prone. He's gonna throw a molly right on top of Salute. This may be the end. Salute is burning, but I think he got a first aid off just in time. Has to wrap to the outside, but no, the molly was good enough. What a play from AZ.
It's not perfect, they're getting knocks against them, but they are making it work time and time again. But Apocalypse with a very, very good return knock on Kurt.
Nice double headshot coming through, gets the flush instantly as well. Molly should take out Rune. We'll see if the man can do anything. No, Halo able to find the first. Apocalypse not in the position to cover him at all. Vegas now spots the second down to have HP. They know the connection was there. Push forward, aggress forward, get the final kill down. Slow HP, no!
Halo as well, so they are not down just yet, but oh, Halo is found.
Exactly, man. The team's aware of exactly what's going on here. Apocalypse crawls for input. Let's go for the flush. Yes, he does. Again, first game of the series. It's only 12 matches total. You want to optimize the amount of points you can get here. Penta, Nate locked on out, doesn't find the first man. Able to stay alive. Penta, though, take it down. Peaks the second time around. Apocalypse hits him.
Keep seeing them cheekily pop up in some of these final moments, so not too bad to be able to get yourself a few points. There is a world where they make grand finals, and quite honestly, I'm going to be truly frank with you here. Me, Benja, Toby, how? Well, they won PEC, fantastic. However, how are they going to do on land? We have a...
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're watching around the world. Welcome to PGS1. We're live from the Battle Arena Malaysia premier esports venue located at the Jaya Shopping Center. My name's Tavis. I am joined by Martin Avenger as we get into the action on day 2 of the winners bracket. Losers bracket, yesterday, hopefully they become the winners as they make the top 8. Yesterday, we saw some teams that surprised some of us moving up to that top 8 and some that let us down.
Yeah, honestly, right now, we might have 5 teams that have already qualified themselves 45 points plus in that bracket there. So it could be only 3 spots that are up for grabs. Obviously, it depends, but should be quite easy to get your 15, 20 points to make sure that you're into the top 8 for the rest of the day.
Now let's remind everybody exactly what the week looks like. We are on the final day of Losers Bracket. We have a day off tomorrow for the teams to reset and get ready for the big grand finals that'll be running Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So make sure you tune into those because not only are we going to have great games, we're also going to have some codes we're giving away. If you want to support those partner teams by getting yourself those skins, we're going to be giving away some of those live on the broadcast. So make sure you tune in. Prize pool, $500,000 on the line, the lion's share for $80,000. But Martin, making the top 8 is a $10,000 increase in your prize pool just like that.
Yeah, you double the prize pool that you're able to get home. And also you have a chance at, of course, a bigger lion's share of the $500,000. Of course, the format here, as we've been talking about, we're the last chance here at top. This is called last day. You need to get top 8. Otherwise, you're not making it into the grand finals. Of course, we've not talked much about it, but there's also the PGS points. If you're able to get top 4 in most points in terms of that, you're going straight to PGC from the PGS series.
As our good friend Sims would say, it's their last chance to dance, to get out there on the floor and take those points home. Teams that are participating here in the Losers Bracket are on the screen for you. Some that were expected, some that were not. I know a lot of folks did not expect to see 17 in the Losers Bracket, let alone struggling to keep pace with the Losers Bracket. Take another look at them as they play those 12 games.
I gotta say, it's a bit of a few more surprises here than you would expect to go into it, right? You have your New Habits, you have your Luminosity Gaming, Twisted Minds, Baseline. There's a lot of big names here that you're expecting to be in the grand finals, right? And not a lot of teams of those, they shouldn't have been here in the loser bracket in the first place. But then again, if you could make sure that you're going to the grand finals through the loser bracket, it means that you have more games to play and you're well more prepared once you get into the grand final.
And for a team like Ascend or Gen G, 2 teams that are fighting in that 8th place cutoff right now, they are going to be they're going to need all of those points. Now, that was the teams on the cutoff. Here's 2 players who have been absolutely phenomenal in this bracket so far.
And I gotta say, I've had my eyes on Heaven for some time here, and he's been able to perform in the losers bracket in the first day, and 546 damage average over 6 games. That is very impressive. He had that game where he almost cracked 1,000 too, so super impressive to see Heaven and Ghibli play so far.
While you keep your eyes looking towards Heaven, let's take a look at the 3 teams that we think you should be keeping your eyes on in this one. LG is a shock for a lot of folks after the group stages to even be here in the first place. Have done very well in the losers bracket.
Yeah, I talked to Trevor and Nomi going into today, and he said the best thing that could happen to them was that 13-point day in winners bracket, because that motivation is going to push them so much further. That's the wake-up call that they needed. And now they're sitting in the guaranteed spot. There's 62 points. It is impossible for them not to qualify. There's not going to be 8 teams passing them today.
Now, another team that we're watching, but was also an interesting story yesterday, was Ghibli. We thought that they were going to go head-to-head. They did some challenging to Luminosity, but after game 1, they decided to go their own way, and so far it's working out.
Yeah, and we were kind of hoping to see some more Korean teams coming into the grand final, right? And now we're looking at Ghibli, and they're 48 points.
Yeah.
10, 15 more points. This should be certain into the top 8 here from the losers bracket.
Now we get a look at ZP, Jan, and New Happy, another team that has been, I think, a little slower than a lot of people expected, but here in the losers bracket, it's given them a chance to get their feet under them. If you've got those players, they have been getting you a kind of survival points, getting to the end, a few kills, some damage here, but what they are not doing is costing you -3 for dying early. They seem to have that staying power.
That's for sure, yeah. But I will say 35 points, they're 10 points behind Space Clan, right? They're that 6th to 7th, 8th spot there. That might be up for grabs if they're not really stepping it up here. Fantasy League, though, so far, Kickstart has been proving to be really well, doing himself here in terms of points. Snakers too, 211 points. That is the reason why he's my captain here for losers bracket.
Deserves to be. And now I love seeing Luminosity players on top. I will say for those of you at home, you have chances to make a change to your roster if you still need to. Rain for EXO is out. Kang is back in. But I did think it was interesting that Hikerman has been playing so well that the team has chosen to keep him in instead of subbing him back out.
For sure. Our teams here, though, let's not talk about Calaris. He's gone. He's been shipped home. He's busy.
He was doing 2 too well. We had to send him on his way.
Yeah, get off of them. And then our teams, of course, it's close. It's very similar. Some Xiaobeis here and there, and other guys here, the casters, also some interesting ones. And I saw, when we were talking about Kickstart, I saw Cameron jumping up and down because he's been rooting him. That 9-kill game.
Yes.
And a lot of damage. That really earned us some points yesterday for sure.
Really, in terms of single-player performance, riled only by Hamas earlier in the winners bracket stage. Take a look at the leaderboards right now. James does lead at 803. Despite not having being here today, we still must speak of him, for sure, who shall be named because he's doing so well. But I do love the idea.
60 points behind, though.
What's important here is the desk is trouncing the casters. That, for me, is probably the biggest takeaway.
As expected. But we're 2 points apart. It's actually only 1.5 points, I think, or so. Yeah. It's like less than 2 points, so it's extremely close here. The total leaderboard, though, Toughies, the 62 points we were talking about, and the kind of 5th to 6th cutoff I was talking about with FaZe on 45 and New Happy on 35. That 10 points, that is going to be a big factor. Only getting like 15, 20 points today here is going to be quite easy for the top 5. I feel like right now, the spots that are up for grabs is New Happy, Petrica Road, and the center spots right now. And that 35, 35, 34 point. Because look at Gen G and Third Eye. They're also on 34. Right. It's tied, a 3-way tie for that.
And if you are a fan of GEX, PLM, Sun Sister, EXO, you need to be cheering them on in Game 1. They have to come out strong, otherwise they are just going to be untenable in terms of catch-up. Map rotation today, it's all about me, as we kick off on the dusty deserts of Miramar and wrap up on the grassy pastures of Erangel. This teams seem to be kind of okay with this going back and forth. It's new, just changing maps every single time.
We're used to having, 2 or 3 in a row, and I actually like this. It's fine. It's keeping them up, but it's harder to build that kind of map momentum when you're feeling like really good and you're seeing that the circles are coming your way and you're having your drop safe and sound. You're not being contested, then you're going back all the time. I feel like it keeps them kind of on their toes, though, and I feel like it's good to see kind of a refreshing format for that, because we've also been changing it from me to imi.
Yep.
And that's also been working pretty good.
It has, but it's also changed up a few things for some of the teams. Yesterday, we did talk about Ghibli was looking to challenge Luminosity, but because they wanted to challenge on Miramar after a tough Erangel game, they just didn't have the ability to do that.
I love that.
That is kind of a nice thing about the back and forth, a way to refresh after maybe a bad game.
I mean, it is a kind of a bigger chance for them, but if you have a good Game 1, right? And also, as you're saying, like the bottom teams right now, they need it. They need literally a snowball game from the get-go. First or second game, if they don't get like a double-digit game, it's going to be really rough, because the teams that are kind of defending that top 8 right now are really good teams. They're going to have a lot of kills today.
Let me ask you real quick before we go. Mid-pack, who's the mid-pack team that you think is going to hit that top 8?
If 17 Gaming doesn't do it, doesn't take one of those spots that they don't have right now, I would be extremely surprised. They're uncontested in Picado Pochinki. They have to get top 8.
It'll be a travesty if not. I'm just going to go Third Eye because NA bias. Why not? Let's have a little bit of fun and see if they can make that push. Guys, gals, it is time for us to kick off Game 1 of day number 2 of the winners bracket. When we come back, let's get it on.
And we are ready for the first game of the last day of the losers bracket here at PGES 1. It is going to be I, Paper Thin, along with my main man, Cammy D, coming through for the first couple of games here. And of course, we are starting on Miramar once again. The last chance here, Cammy, this is it. You either do or die.
Yeah, absolutely. And these circles, they've been hard, they've been rough, but that is no excuse at this point. If you cannot make top 8 in a loser's bracket in this lobby, despite how stacked that it is, you just don't deserve to be in the grand finals. It's the way competition works. I don't make the rules.
Exactly. This is where you got to get it done. So a lot of teams in a really precarious spot towards the middle of the leaderboards. Yep. A lot of teams, had big, strong days yesterday. Luminosity, of course, one of them. I'm very happy to see Ghibli playing well. But, there's some teams that we have a lot of question marks about. For me, Gen G, of course, I went on a bit of a rant yesterday about it, but as well as, a lot of those teams in the middle, like Third Eye, 17 Gaming, that are just not quite having those performances that maybe we had hoped for.
Yeah, there's still a lot of room for mobility around here. We have, what is this? Let me quickly count, like 5 teams between all at 35th or 34th, and then there's like one at 31 and one at 27. So there's still a lot of room for teams to be moving around here and really try and break into that top 8. And even though Luminosity Gaming at the first and 62 points, and then Twisted Minds at 58, there is space for the teams below them in like 3rd through 5th to just have an awful day and fall out at the last moment. So there's very, very, very little that is secured at this point.
Precisely. All right, guys, let's get it underway. It is time for Miramar. Game number 1 of the day. Game number 7, if my math is right, of these lower brackets.
You got there.
Let's get into it. All right, even on my birthday, I still got math. I'm getting older, but my math is still pretty good.
Yeah, counting to 7. That's
yeah, it's tough. and they gave me a physics degree in college. Joke with them.
Oh wow.
Now I yell at video games for a living. All right, here we go. It is time for the plane path. And if you really know the map, you could maybe guess it from here, but it is going to be starting right out over the Eastern Islands, crossing Impala up towards La Cobreria. And then we will see where everybody wants to go. A little bit of a northern shift on this one. So spots like Chumacera, Valdomar, a little bit outside of the easily dropped zone. Gonna have to play for those vehicles potentially.
Yeah, it's not too bad. But yeah, it is definitely skewed just a little bit towards the north. So like Third Eye here likes Valdomar a fair bit. Not gonna be able to get to there so quick. Already see STK out of the plane, just mashing that F button the second the plane got in the air. GEX also landing immediately at Impala. It's been a while since we've had a hot drop. We've had early contesting and group stage and winners bracket, and we thought that we might see a lot of that, especially with, well, Twisted Minds and Petrichor Road in this lobby, but that is still going to be separated here as Petrichor Road going towards the north.
Yeah, Petrichor Road now going to be settling in Hacienda for this particular stage of the event. Of course, that is 4AM's home territory, so coming into the, if they, assuming Petrichor Road gets through, if they do, could be some interesting kind of more shuffling that comes through because Twisted Minds looking like they maybe need, what do you think, 10 points-ish?
Yeah, we're looking at around 70 to be the cutoff. We're halfway through, 8th place is 34 points, so, around there, but phase number 1, really hard to the northeast. It's not that hard in consideration with the plane path, though it does mean the teams that are having to drop far then have to, at least in the southwest direction, then have to drive even further back the opposite way. But for everyone else that are around the center spot, really not too rough for them.
Yeah, for phase, a pretty good start for them potentially, where they have a decent zone facing them. Some parting shots at Adder. Grabbed a pistol, Fluky there, runs out of bullets. No hope for him to find any further damage. As Pentagram is already on an early rotation, I can see the rest of their team drifting already up towards the north of water treatment.
Yeah, maybe my memory is just really, really poor, but I don't recall Purple Mood being in this area too often, and that their presence alone might just be forcing a team like Pentagram to have to readjust. In fact, Wicked seems to be cut off. Thankfully, with this northern phase shift, they can just go all the way up towards, they're currently around water treatment. They could go all the way to Oasis or Torre Ahumada there on the north side if they wanted to. We'll see if they need to do that or not. But it still could be a disruption to their loot pathing.
Certainly. I think Purple Mood there, again, one of those teams that the desk was talking about that might need some points. So them, along with Sun Sister, EXO, I believe made a player swap today. If memory serves me correct, GEX, who's been pretty solid in this tournament up until this phase.
Until this stage, yeah, unfortunately. Genji, talk about a team that's just been a disappointment here. Not to sort of beat a dead horse, but they've got some strong players on that roster, just unable to seem to be able to deliver here, which is a big surprise and a big shock, but it's been group stage and then so far in losers bracket. So at this point, you can't really say, oh, it's a fluke.
Right. Oh, it's decision making in my book from what I've watched. I don't think their mechanics are particularly of suspect. It's strictly decision making. As you guys saw there, we are switching out Rain for Kong today for EXO as they want to try a slightly different roster. And it's hard to argue with that in some ways. I think Rain has been, maybe not their best performer, but with Akita and Hikerman in particular having some strong performances, I think EXO is looking for a little bit of extra oomph today because they're certainly going to need it.
Yeah, I mean, Kong has actually been their best player on their starting roster. Heikerman's been slotted in for the past couple of rounds because Kong has been feeling a little bit under the weather. But because of Heikerman's performance, I don't want to say carrying, partly because I think Akita's been doing some good work, but also 14th place. No one's really being carried at this stage in the at this level on the leaderboard, but he's been doing so well for the team that to put him back out despite him being the sub, I think would remove all chances that EXO Clan had at qualifying, and with only 15 points, they need every single chance they can get.
Yeah, and you got to think back to that fight with this team right here. Third Eye up by Oasis yesterday. Didn't go very good for them in a 1v3 at that time. I think Richie B slapped one out away from them, and that shouldn't have happened in the way that it did. So I think there's some miscommunication, some other things going on with Third Eye, and I think they're looking to make a change. SDK had a pretty solid day yesterday, sitting in 4th place at 48 points. I was talking to Vegas a little bit, and he just said, we think we're in a pretty good spot. We just need 22 points. We just got to play our normal game today.
Yeah, Vegas being put on the roster, I think, was probably one of the best changes that SDK needed because he's such a energetic player. While the rest of SDK and even the previous roster seemed to have really good players, but lacked almost a pull trigger mentality. And so Vegas on that, I think, has added them a level of a dynamic play to sort of be that X factor that open up opportunities. He's always going for crates. That's why he's always having crate weapons. It's not even a choice that the team is choosing to give it to him. He just happens to be there while the rest of the team is deciding if they even want to go for those crates or not. So sort of, again, that level of just trying to find opportunities, trying to find moments and really take over the lobby, I think is really good for STK. And every single time we see them at this event, they're just gelling more and more. I think they still have some room to grow in terms of team play, winning some 1v1s as well. There's been a couple of unfortunate engagements where they got 1v3'd a few different times. So as long as they can clean that stuff up, then I think they can still be an even stronger roster than we've seen.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you're hitting a really strong point that I think a lot of us have noticed about SDK is macro is very good, but sometimes the team fighting leaves something to be desired for sure. Purple Mood just settling up towards the center of the circle. You do have a 2-1-1-ish split here for FaZe. I almost called it a 2-2, and then I'm like, well...
It's close enough. It's somewhere in between, but it is widespread. So Purple Mood and Pentagram are actually already slotting in between those pairs. It's phase 1. I don't know if they're going to get crashed in this position, but I think they're ready to bail from this spot if they need to. In the same way that New Happy are bailing in from the south side, actually arriving to the circle a little sooner than they usually do, just looking at the in-game timer. But again, they're looting on the south side where the plane started, so they don't need to stick around longer than they have to.
Yeah, I mean, New Happy is definitely a team that is happy to play the edge. God, I got to stop doing that.
Is it even on purpose?
No, I don't. That's the worst part. They like to do it on purpose. They're a very confident team on the edge, so certainly, these types of circles don't bother them at all. Yeah. Wicked does get a little info, I suspect. Maybe spotted Gustav or, there were some shots or something, and he is just going to back off his Pentagram, not going to try to commit to any early game aggression in 17. Of course, Cammy, we'd be remiss without talking about them. It needs to be better today, period, end of story.
Yeah, and there was one day where they got contested in their drop spots, and they've looked terrible since. So I don't know what the problem is. Really good team. Constantly second place in their region, but that's constantly second place is still really, really good. Probably one of the more consistent teams in that top placings amongst the Chinese region. But here on the international stage, they should be showing up, and I don't know if just the Sonics got in their head day one, but the fact that if that is the case, and they still haven't been able to reset their mental is a big indictment of the team's chemistry or just mental fortitude, strength, whatever you want to call it. Because those players should be doing better. They should be able to be landing a lot of shots. And just that loss yesterday when they had the center compound, Chenji and Luminosity, I'm not even going to say stealing it from them, but them basically letting Luminosity have it is... I don't know what to make of them at this point. I didn't put them on my fantasy roster just because, I have to learn to trust them again, and so far I still can't.
I feel you. I think now you have to start to wonder how much losing Show has hurt 17 Gaming here coming into these international events. Are they not as able to reset? Do they lack that mental fortitude? Did he bring something to that team that, one of those intangibles that you don't get to see on the screen?
Yeah. Well... Genji and Ascend both rotating very far north just to focus back up on the game, crossing past each other. Doesn't surprise me that they wouldn't go for an engagement, that It's Chris wouldn't take the shots right now because the rest of the team is so far away. And honestly, unless you can guarantee that you're going to get the kill and the opposing team won't then turn back on you at this part of the game, this area of the map in relation to the circle, then you just don't want to go for the shots. That 1 point, even if you can get it, would not be worth it if you're just stuck out fighting the blue in phase 1.
All right, EXO maybe sneaking up onto Pentagram. Kong and Akita. Kong subbing in today. Going to be fresh off the bench. Let's see how crisp he is with those mechanics coming into this potential fight. Akkad with an SLR. I don't think he spotted Kong, but maybe somebody heard that door. I'm not sure. Adder doesn't seem to be reacting. Nobody from Pentagram is reacting to this.
There's some good cover from the rest of EXO to cause a distraction. Heikman also dropping on in, and yep, there it is. Caught off guard. Adder out in the open. 0 clue and even more follow-up damage.
Oh, Akita, great job here. Kong on the cross, ready for Akkad. Pentagram's communication not on point enough to really identify where Kong was, and they're going to pay the price. Now Ikari out in the open here, loses a fight to Fluky, who gets out of the buggy and is able to find the spray before Ikari does. That is a rare whiff from Ikari.
Yeah, and honestly, Purple Mood attacking at the second that EXO took out other members of Pentagram. I don't know if that was just really unlucky timing for Pentagram or amazing timing for Purple Mood, but with this circle shift, centering up, but favoring the east in terms of where everyone has been playing and just the terrain of this map, makes it even worse because Pentagram were in a position to potentially gatekeep. That's going to open up entry points for EXO, for Purple Mood to make their way eastbound in phase. They're grouping up, they're centering up just a little bit. They have a really strong position as well.
And if you happen to be watching the map stream, which we always encourage, if you're wondering why so many teams were on the southern half of Circle 1, the reason being is the land ratio terrain up towards the north. The circles don't like to go north as much as they do south in this particular quadrant of the map. So teams we're gambling on that, and you can see why. It does start to drift back towards El Azahar. Wicked now all on his lonesome and going to be just proning and waiting in this shack for probably as long as he possibly can.
Yeah, I honestly don't know how long that's going to be. That's a shack that it's not a bad one to defend, even as a group of 4. It's pretty close to center, and it's just not going to be any sort of team send onto that spot won't be punished nearly as much as similar shacks and similar in different areas of the map, rather.
Certainly. Twisted Minds kind of coming out of power grid, not super early. There were some crates I saw dropped in the rotation path of Twisted Minds, so curious to see if they had the time to stop and pick those up. 17 just around the corner. Genji up in the north. Ascend didn't really opt to harass Genji at all from what we saw. So right now, both of those teams pretty spread apart and just kind of vibing on opposite ends in between Tierra Blanca and Cruz de Valle.
Yeah, Genji specifically actually has a lot of space on the north side, which, as you say, is likely going to get pulled away from, but hopefully they can use that as an opportunity to get a lot of information and potentially sort of like crowbar wedge themselves further on. And EXO still going for more fights, more shots. Akita's actually going to be able to find the knock onto Vox. EXO, they love taking these fights and really sneaking up on other teams as they are able to get those first 2 kills on a Pentagram, but it sort of seems to be their MO, where they're just sort of like take a team apart a bit at a time, piece by piece, trying to go for the finish right now on the down member of Third Eye. Vox still going to be alive for now, but it's going to be rough to try and revive him.
Well, here's what's super interesting is Oldless is out on his own up by the water treatment mountain, and he was putting some shots into EXO. So now I'm curious, Cammy, because you hinted onto something that I was really already thinking about with EXO today. Are they just going to be looking for those picks? So Oldless is ripe for the picking, potentially.
Could be isolated, but out in the blue. We'll see if they want to go for that. Adam does actually get knocked, so there's another member of Third Eye. They're falling apart here. While we do watch 17 readjust their position as a strong spot, but we're going to need to see them hold much better than they did yesterday as we flip back onto Akita with even more shots. It was an attempt to go revive Vox. Now Richie B's going to go for it. I'm assuming that there are a lot of smokes in play there, but you send enough shots that way. At some point, especially with this send, that they're able to sort of take this ground off of it. This is looking really hairy for Third Eye.
Yeah, I'm worried about Akita's ammo. He does find another knock now. Ooh, went for the reload there. Had Richie B dead to rights, but Akita's still good for it. Akita is absolutely making it rain with that mini from downtown. He is tearing Third Eye apart, and now it's just Oldless who is late on this rotation to come in and try to bail out his team.
Oldless tried to give some good covering fire, but looking at Richie B, they seem to be completely unaware that EXO made that push into that compound that they were just holding. So things, this game has just seemed to slip through Third Eye's fingers like sand. This circle shift would have favored them a little bit, but this really does favor Petrichor Road, specifically this Death Star Trench cutting through the middle. It's almost a level of river play where you need to sort of put all your eggs into either north or south, but there's a little bit more dynamic play available. But I'm looking at Luminosity, I'm looking at maybe even 17 and Petrichor Road to have good games at this point. It's only phase 3, could still change, but that's where my eyes are right now.
Yeah, this is interesting because Oldless is wrapping south, but there's already a lot of teams that have situated down there. SDK now opening it up with Savior, but Yuri's good for the first knock, trying to find Vegas up on top of the fence line. Not going to do it. The grenade there bounced right towards his feet, but was not cooked, so Yuri is able to evade any further damage. More smokes coming out here to try to protect this res onto Alo. For now, GEX, let's see if they can get anything further done. Well, it's just a flush.
Yeah, it's actually Ghibli also giving some fire onto STK, so that revive onto Alo would have been very hard, and now Leo's going to catch another angle onto Vegas. STK, they thought they had the sneaky approach through the city, and they're just getting stopped hard.
GEX has been really good at some of these barricade positions that they've set up. The grenades are trying to get in the window, and it's good from Penta. What a throw from him. That might change STK's destiny, but the rest of GEX is on the push, and it's a headshot from Yuri. Takes down Penta. Now just Kurt standing for SDK.
Man, we thought that SDK would have a good day today. They're in a relative safe enough position, but at the moment, it's not a good game so far. Thankfully, Kurt has the opportunity to get the revive onto Vegas, but 2 versus 4, even with the knock against Leo, not looking great. Oldless is taken out in the kill feed. As you can see, Third Eye is eliminated quite early in this round. And Twisted Minds, they are sending it onto Petrichor's compound.
Yeah, they want to control one of these pivot points like you were talking about. The road here plays like a river, and if you can control one of these compounds that's in the road, you give yourself a lot more options for going one way or another. A good grenade from Lu. Kui on the other side of Lu, though, is going to put him down there with a decent barrel spray. Now going to opt to go up to the second floor, looking for Spyro down below. Going to cook a grenade. That could be good if it's able to get in that window, and it's cooked properly. Not quite. Spyro's able to evade. Still, Twisted Minds doing a good job here, dodging a lot of the damage from Petrichor Road.
More frag grenades going in. They're just not landing. True 71, Axlef does get revived. None of those grenades went towards their position. I mean, you can't really throw them through any of those windows, but now with the repeat coming out, Mill with more grenades of their own, they're going to be doubling up, not finding the mark. The revive onto Lu is coming.
I think maybe Petrichor Road misread where that knock was onto Lu. Maybe they thought it was on the inside of the wall in relation to the compound. So they're not able to get those grenades. They could have had a real good chance there to do a ton of damage.
Look at that crossover. He's going really, really far into this one. Kind of an ego push, but it's going to work out. Not getting taken out on the pass, and with his position, they can just continue to take this fight in a positive way towards Petrichor Road, but this is not the zone, so they're going to want to have to move eventually.
Spyro able to put Mill out of commission. Batulin's down but not out. Spyro is going to go down to the Saiga from Axlef. Immediately goes for the flush. Takes him down, so point for point here. Kui very, very weak. Axlef been knocked by, it's actually Tanawat from Purple Mood from afar. So now another team getting involved into this battle. Twisted Minds stopping for a moment to get Batulins back up and running.
It was a bit early for a send that Twisted Minds did to this compound anyway, and the fact that it's shifted off of, you can see why teams don't like to go for just bold fights like this, because I think both Petrichor Road and Twisted Minds aren't coming out of this really fast, but 17 actually charging in onto Ascent.
Kilyakai actually a grenade out. It got his teammate, but it is going to be the finish there for 17 Gaming. Lil Ghost did get knocked in the process, but not bad. Now it is shotguns abound here. Perfectix with the Mark 14 on full auto. Saw an AWM in there as well. Shotgun for Kui. He's got the pump. He's got an opportunity. Perfectix trying to set up a crossfire here with the rest of his team. Pulls out the nade at the wrong moment. A stun does not allow him to get the kill, but finally Batulins will be there to do the job. So a lot of level 3 gear here early for Twisted Minds beat up.
Looked hairy, but Twisted Minds, they were able to recover a little bit and actually take out Petrichor Road in a lot more healthy of a fashion than I expected. Here on the north side, this is FaZe. Hard gatekeeping this northwest edge. They took out Extra Clan, now they're facing off against Mood, perhaps not letting them third party that south engagement that we were just watching as much as they would have wanted to. This circle shift did favor the northern side of that Death Star Trench. There is still a little bit of that southern half in, but ooh, Kurt now down, Vegas back up. Can he save his in-game leader in the same way that he was revived earlier?
Yeah, you've got Pio watching the other angle here, so if Vegas were to push ahead, he'd likely be done, but he's spotted. Should be good. Yep, TG with the repeat finds it, and now Genji, 2 very valuable points to see if they can recover from some of their mistakes from yesterday. Twisted Minds now pushing in towards Purple Mood as the grenades are out here. Purple Mood has a really favorable angle, especially with Fluky's off position, but he's getting shot in the back by Corexi. Perfectix and others trying to get involved. Thunder's up top, trying to see if he can blockade this, but FaZe is really making this a dicey fight for both squads.
17 as well, Logos and Xiaobei. This is 4 teams all essentially shooting at each other, and it's actually 17 do have a split across both sides. I missed that earlier on, and so that's given them a lot of angles here. And I mean, this is often what you see with fights at this point of the map, as Thunders does get another knock, but Batulin with the grenade, with the trade, this is just falling apart for everyone, and everyone can see everyone else. It's not a field, but it has a lot of features that are similar to it.
Yeah, Borabotes is trying to do something. He's trying to find some kind of space. Gonna have to wrap around the outer edge of this smoke to try to cut off the fire from the south. Perfectix sticking that res. Circle did hard shift up to the north. As we were talking about Death Star Trench, land ratio terrain, most of it. Oh, Borabotes! Oh, what a transfer, but immediately taken down by Suju.
Just after he killed Twisted Minds, though, so there's the points. No placements just yet. We're only just now hitting FaZe. 4 kills. They lost 2 amongst all of that commotion. They have a pretty easy path to get in the zone, but I mean, with 17 shots angled that direction, crosshairs angled that direction, could be a little difficult. But honestly, more importantly, they're going to want to use this angle to try and punish the majority of this lobby, which is still coming out from the city to the east, as well as that southern side where we see in the kill feed Luminosity and New Happy fighting each other.
Yeah, Luminosity's Relo on point. The IGL here trying to keep New Happy at bay. Just working the edge of that smoke line, but New Happy doesn't like what they see after losing a member to Flood. Now they're going to send it down in towards Ghibli and GEX. Out of the frying pan into the fire. New Happy down and in, but that compound was abandoned by Glaz. So for now, New Happy has a brief moment of safety.
Yeah, Glaz almost looked like he was trying to third-party that fight, and then he saw New Happy coming towards him, and so he turned tail and ran away. They're actually in a good position, Ghibli, to take these fights against New Happy and GEX. I need to push into them. It's getting out of this small little corner. That's the hard part. In fact, Snakers is showing us exactly why that is.
Of course, Glaz, if you were a fan of Korean PUBG, used to go by Nephex a while ago, so same player, just different name. LG now starting to harass a lot of teams on the other side of the trench. Damage being done to 17, was nothing but a Murado for cover. Pio as well, way out on the northern side, has been harassing the back flanks of FaZe for some time. Even had picked up a kill earlier in the kill feed. HS now going to try to scoot across to that rock on the other side of the hill. It looks good. In fact, Pio and Xiao UDD going to take FaZe out in 8th.
HS slotting himself right in front of Ghibli. A good grenade as well. Potentially out Human. Human's going to be dodging that one, hopping inside the building. And the rest of New Happy is going to be swinging in front of that. So really good macro maneuvers to try and get inside this zone. It's all about holding point and, more importantly, not getting peppered by Luminosity. But Luminosity need to leave themselves, thus giving them the opening to take this fight. Ming Ming pushes forward.
Yeah, Ming Ming here wants to cut off the advancements of the other teams if possible. Having that superstar for Ghibli yesterday, put up tons of damage and kills, really was a big part of their success, is rezzed and back up and running. Glaz on the outside, gets the knock on a Ming Ming. The last bullet finding the head. Their grenades there, weakening that knocked status. Stuns up and over. Another knock here from Yuri onto Heaven. HS gets Gyumin. Ghibli is falling apart between GEX and New Happy. Still though, only HS for New Happy. Tosi sticking this res onto Heaven. Grenades are out, they're falling short.
Sunsis are also trying to get involved. They'll actually leave their compound for this, but here's the Luminosity Center on the north side, actually able to pit all 4 up just below 17. I'm shocked that they're able to get all 4 into this position, but grenades aren't coming out. But Xiao DD goes down to Pio. Pio on that north flank, still raining terror.
Yeah, he is just making life miserable for everybody on the northern side. A knock on to kickstart here buys LG, or excuse me, 17 a little bit of time. Pio is still very far away. Ghibli now is somehow stabilizing and taking down GEX down to the bottom picture in pitch. Like, this is nuts. Like, I thought Ghibli was dead to rights, but New Happy got killed by that Sun Sister push out you mentioned, and now GEX is faltering.
They're getting the revives, they're staying alive, and Xiaobei with more grenades, zeroing in on the one spot that LG can be, and Snaker holding that back rock, and now Suju with the push, trying to go for the drive-by.
LG Snaker is trying to line up some shots. Suju, though, spins him, takes him down. It's a headshot onto Snakers.
13 kills for 17. I only just now noticed that. We were saying 17 need to play better, need to play up to the level that we know that they can. And this is finally the game that we are seeing that. But can they continue to push this game? They're in top 4, but only 2 up, and they have to move the most. It's going to be a steal if they're somehow able to win this game.
Unbelievable stuff here. That That spin and turn onto Snakers from Suju was absolutely disgusting, but now they're under fire from Taming of Gen G. Sun Sister just on the other side of this hill, and Emok prepping a grenade, lets loose with it. If it catches Xiaobei, he's done. No, not quite, but the shot decent from Emok gets Suju. Only one alive here, just Xiaobei for 17. Immediately pushing this hillside to see if there's any reinforcements from Sun Sister, but they've kind of backed off here. They're under pressure from Ghibli across the way.
Yeah, this line you can see from this hill onto that tree means that Sun Sister cannot force that fight, and this could give 17 the opportunity for the revive if they identify that Toasty with a really good knock onto Emok. And while all this is happening, Gen G are winning. They are just spreading out. They're maintaining control of the high ground. They might not get any of these kills here below them, but they're going to get the placements.
And there's a crate dropping right in the middle of Gen G's formation as well. Yeah, just to make matters worse for everybody else on the bad side of this hill. Xiaobei, though, did get the res onto Suju. Little help from Ghibli along the way. Now 6 kills for Xiaobei, 5 for Suju, 2 for Xiao DD. Lil Ghost went out a little bit too early to find any kills for himself. Pio beginning to make his way forward, wants to see if he can just end the day here. He's got him lined up. He's got the 3X, can't find the repeat though. Backs up. Ooh, Ghibli is really up high there. Heaven in particular, if he had repeaked a little or gotten a little bit higher up on that hill, he could have done some more damage.
I want to see DG and Foxy do a little more to keep Ghibli from being able to peek like that, because Pio's position could be incredibly powerful. He's such a good flank player. You want to make sure that he can stay alive, but I think those other two players are still backing away. They don't want to reg this pudding here. They don't want to sort of give themselves up. In a way, like Ghibli can only focus so much on Pio because Sun Sister, they're just sitting ducks here at the bottom.
Yeah, Pio was thinking about the grenade, but right now is not really close enough to make one connect. But the rest of Gen G now starting to gravitate towards the center of the new circle. Here, Phase 7 has centered up just more or less towards Gen G, a little bit southern shifted compared to where it was, but nothing too difficult. Pio with a motorcycle. A little bit of old school Korean PUBG there, driving around with a motorcycle in the late game, repositioning, but they've got the space for it, Cammy.
Yeah, this shift is actually kind of bad for 17 in the sense that if it was further north, they could just stay here, try and take out Sun Sister along with Ghibli, but at this point, I think the kill is going to be a lot more spread, and Gen G have a lot more room, a lot more space and timing, I think, to make sure that they have a part into these kills.
Sun Sister's in a tough position. Coming out of this compound is actually fairly tricky.
Yep.
No matter where you are. So, yes, it got them deep into this game, but they're going to have to hit some nice shots. That's a good start from Run AX. Tegu up ahead, trying to push some space, trying to get some information. Pio got one. Can he find the second? No. Xiaobei just a little bit faster, ready for that angle. And Pio is going to have to go for the heal.
Yeah, certainly ready for the repeat. Taman also here grouped up with the in-game leader, ready to take 17 out and only focus on Ghibli and Sun Sister after on this. He's going to go and confirm that kill, make sure that no more information can go Xiaobei's way, but the spray is coming out. Xiaobei's good for one. It's actually Emok with the knock against Pio, but Taman is there. 17 are out. Revive is coming on in.
Yeah, just going to grab him and go. They know they have a lot of time because of that uphill, that steep uphill that Sun Sister has to come up. 10 kills for Gen G now in this game. Certainly the start of the day the Korean fans wanted to see. Let's see if Sun Sister can put up some big points. Let's see if we can get a Japanese team firing, but no, it's going to be Tosi hitting some great shots once again onto Emok. Yumin with the SKS trying to harass them as they go for the res. Damage being done here and there, but so far they can't find any flushes.
I'm waiting for Tegu to try and do something to break his team out of this rough spot. Grenades are coming out, but I was hoping for maybe a low ground flank to catch Ghibli off guard, but Sun Sister just falling apart all around him. I don't know if it's fear or maybe Ghibli just kept pushing him down whenever he did try and peek.
Well, now you're giving Gen G the opportunity to start bearing down on top of you too, so that's making matters even more difficult. But Gen G needs to be careful. This is a tight wire they have to walk right now because there is Ghibli on the other side. So once they start shooting, once they start revealing themselves, especially when you hear that Mark 14, you'd love to knock that out of the hands of Gen G. You'd love to get that level 3 gear out of the fight.
Grenades coming on in. DG trying to zero on up. It's going to be Pio again with an angle, still pushing on in, gets the second, has to fall away again because of Ghibli, but still damage here and there. It's been really adding up for Gen G.
Well, this is the PO you've been wanting to see. Some great shots here, going for the flushes as well. Sun Sister's Emok still alive, but the only one right now for SST. Ghibli going to use this opportunity to try to wrap around the flanks of Gen G. This is pretty sneaky. Gen G right now has Foxy watching it though, so this shouldn't be super dangerous, you would hope. Emok out in the open, and he's done. Pio's got 8 kills on this game. Can he be our first to put up double digits?
Ghibli, they had made that rotation towards the north, as you said. Maybe running into Foxy, which is why they're coming back down the south side, but with Sun Sister taken out, Gen G have nothing else to look at but the 3 remaining members of Ghibli. So Ghibli are just searching around, crawling around, trying to find some way to break Gen G's hold open, but this spread that Gen G have been able to survive in for so long is just, the crossfires are insane, the information is strong. It's gonna have to be an explosive push right now. Tosi has the grenade at the ready. Doesn't go far enough though.
Came up way short, but Ghibli's going to continue to press. Pio's wrapping down to the bottom. Are they going to see him? DG's looking the wrong way, but Pio's got him covered. That is the sawed-off, getting the kill onto DG. Gumin trying to go for the repeaks, not good enough. Taming there to back off Tosi a bit. Pio there with a long-range spray. Even trade in terms of damage between him and his opponent. Now Foxy trying to get into the mix. Taman with some really good sprays from range. Weakens Ghibli. They are in dire straits here. Just 2 members left. A heal comes through for Gumin. Foxy trying to sweep through the edge, trying to get the job done, but Pio has Gumin down. It is a sweep for Gen G. They are trying to crush Ghibli. It is Tosi who remains.
Tosi right now knows that Pio is still just playing on the low ground. Pio just cannot die. Out in the open, finally Tosi's able to take him out, but the only one left for Ghibli, and the revive is coming in onto DG98. It's still a 1 versus 3. It's a hard push right now. Taman has the lineup.
Taman there has a weakened. Tosi just needs to find a few more bullets to connect and he'd have him, but no. Tosi, no helmet, trying to get away from this. Those head peeks are going to be super dangerous for him from now on. No heals being attempted yet. He's just going to try to play this one out. Pio not really resible in this particular situation. Tosi a little bit more time to play with.
And there's no reason for Ghibli to try and deny points right now. They're a lot higher than Gen G are. So going for the points is more important than trying to deny anything from Gen G, which is why Tosi is still in this round, but he's playing it slow. He's just looking for an opportunity, but he's running out of space. The blue pushing it at his back. We've already seen that it's been hard for him to prone down under shots and try and go for peaks because of it, and it's just running out.
Yeah, and you can see now Gen G knows that he's pinned against the blue, and they're trying to make it more difficult, trying to cut off the angles. I think at this point he's given up. There is not much left for him to do, so absolutely a great game here from Gen G. A 16-kill chicken dinner to start the day. This is the Gen G we have been looking for all tournament, and what a time to show up.
Yeah, they had a really good spot in the circle. They were gifted a little bit throughout the mid game and the late game for that, but to get 16 kills, that's not gifted. And the big question right now is, can Gen G use this as the momentum spark to have a much better rest of this run?
17 Gaming as well, putting up a ton of kills, but guys, we're going to watch some highlights and then go back over to the desk as
It's a GG for Gen G as they take home the first win of the day, and they do it in an outstanding 16-kill victory. My name's Tom.